Hello, Glitch Reaper here. You might be wondering why I'm starting on a web page rather than in Magic Duels itself, or for that matter, MTG Arena. But there's pretty good reasoning behind this, and I'm going to explain. Pretty close to Thanksgiving, on November 26th, 2019, to be rather precise, and it even says so here as a good reminder. Magic Duels is no longer being supported. I already knew it wasn't going to be supported after a while, partially because of MTG Arena, but I was thinking certain things would just carry on as usual, and that's not the case. And they've changed things up in a very interesting way with what's basically been a final update. Now, before, whenever I was doing some of my last things, you might have noted that I was saying that the community quests weren't up, and that's because they were kind of curated. Like, individual people had to actually update and determine what their community quest was going to be for the week. And it just something that was done very specifically, so I figured, well, that would probably be all that was really going to happen from the game no longer being supported. However, that's not true. And I'm going to read this word for word if I can, because, as you might realize from before, I have a darn lips problem sometimes. But I will try to do this as specifically as possible. And then afterwards, I'm going to pause for a moment, and then go into Magic Duels to show what this actually means in-game, and maybe a few other things on Steam that kind of will reveal kind of what this all means. But I'm going to go over this now. Magic Duels. End of an era. As of November 26th, 2019, Magic Duels is no longer being supported. After so many exciting matches over the years, as a thank you to all of our players, everyone Magic Duels currently downloaded should have received one last update. This update unlocks all the content that the game has to offer, removes quests and microtransactions, and allows players to still play in both single-player and multiplayer modes. With support for Magic Duels coming to an end, we are unable to assist with technical troubleshooting or other issues with the app. We apologize for any inconvenience this causes, but please let us know if we can assist with anything else. See you, Planeswalker. That sounds kind of intense, and there's also something else I'm going to show on the Steam page, so I'm going to pause this for a moment and bring that up. Be right back. Okay, back on. But I'm going to show a few things about the game here, including part of this Steam page. It's saying how on Tuesday, November 26th, that they're doing things differently, but I'm going to go more into that in detail here. Ending official support for Magic Duels. On Tuesday, November 26th, we are removing Magic Duels Origins from online storefronts and ending continued support for the game. At that time, we're removing the in-game store and all purchasing functions. Players who still have these games will be able to play multiplayer matches and have access to all single-player content, as well as all available cards. Multiplayer matchmaking will continue as normal. From all of us, thank you again for your support of these games and the passion you've shared. So this is something, well, I may have clicked something, but what that basically means is it's not, even though it's been free to play for a long time, it might not be accessible on storefronts. I'm not sure if you can even search it anymore. I'm going to actually try that in a moment just to see if I can. Like, do a straight search and see if it's findable from the Steam store. So I'm just going to examine that for a moment here. So let's just see if they've actually got it literally removed from the Steam store. Okay, never mind. I can't do that function while I'm recording with this software at the same time for some reason. Namely, it's just making it where Steam isn't showing anything on a wide area of the screen. So I'm going to go into what this actually means here, and I'll just kind of report later if I could even theoretically find it on the Steam store. So there's that. But as you can see, things are already different here on this screen, because you've seen the screen quite a few times. The most notable things here is you can see here it's got quest literally locked, and that's how you find that support page here. It has that thing about it being the end of an era. It also says skill quests can be found in help and auctions, how to play. There are currently no daily or community quests available. And the thing is, you can't actually do any daily quests in any way, and there's no community quests anymore. I'm not sure if it even really determines rank anymore on that, so I'm going to have to check that out as well. Now, the big thing here to show is not just things being closed out, but you do have access to everything, like all the story modes still there. You could still go into like your different types of battle modes, but a really huge, big honkin' difference here is that if you already had the game, your collections are now officially maxed out. And some people might have thought for a moment that that didn't mean that you were getting like complete sets, but that's not actually true because they might not have noticed what I did with the curve. And that certain types of cards you can only have so many of regardless. That's not exactly true in the normal game, and in MTG Arena you can have more copies of something regardless of rarity due to some things. But here's kind of the big demonstration, is I hadn't fully collected Kaladesh. And I've noticed over time what the actual collection curve is to how many copies of any particular card you can have for a given rarity level. Like, for example, if it's a mythic rare, like Cataclysmic Gearhulk, you can only have one copy. If it's a common, you can have up to 4, which is standard for anything other than a basic land, is that you can have up to 4. If it's uncommon, like Kunsel's Shield Guard here, you can have up to 3. Now, the thing is, they've basically just been maxed out. So, like, a lot of these I hadn't actually collected before, and yet I have whatever the normal maximum would be. And that's something a lot of people may have missed, is they didn't know that you can't actually have 4 copies of a rare in this particular game. Because you can only have up to 2 for a rare. For mythic rare, it's 1, for uncommon, it's 3, and for common, it's 4. So, just kind of reiterating there that there are, in fact, limits. So, just kind of going over these real quick, in a way, because there's something I want to show very specifically, is a good example. Because I'd been hunting down a card for a particularly long period of time, and I got it recently through this method, not doing, like, questing for openings in terms of opening packs, you know? And I finally got my one of my searching for out of Kaladesh here, and this is Campbell, Consul of Allocation. And he's a rare card, so I got 2 copies, which is max for the curve. Now, some people had previously been kind of complaining, again, that they didn't get all that they thought they would, but I guess they just didn't know what the curve actually was. Because something I noticed over time, it was never actually explained in the rules for Magic Duels in-game in any way. There was limitations on your sets, so maybe they got the wrong impression. But this is how it actually turns out. So, just kind of showing things off there as to how it actually works out, and the fact that there is a curve in terms of how many you can collect for any given rarity level, and I'd like to kind of bring that point up very, very specifically, that that is just the way it is, and that anybody that was trying to think that maybe if they kept throwing more money at it, or more in-game money in terms of gold at it, that eventually they'd get those extra copies of certain cards. Gotta break it to you, not gonna happen. It's not the way it works here. This is not how it functions. They may not have noted it in game, but I have noted it myself, and I'm just telling you that is the way it is. That's the rules. They were not spoken about. They were not written about. That's just the way they are. So that's kind of how that part goes. But here comes another thing, and I'm going to have to, again, pause this for a moment and see if I can get to a proper page. So give me a moment, and maybe, just maybe, I'll pull this off. If not, then I'm sorry, this will be the end of the video, because there's certain things apparently I cannot do simultaneously. I wish I could, but it's just not working out that way. So I'll be pausing for now, and if that's it, then it's the end of the video, and I'll get back to other things for a while. So, see you on the other side. Okay, so I was able to continue, because I forgot that some things apparently are working because they're actually within the game, and how it displays it kind of indirectly through Steam. So that's working out pretty well. Now, the thing is, I've got 85% of all the achievements in the game. Now, some of them I'll still be able to get after the fact, because they're based on things you can do in-game in one way or another, but some of them had to use the store. So that kind of made things a little bit of a problem. Well, not really using the store, I should say. Sorry, wrong thing. But I had to use certain subsystems, like the quests. So that's more the thing that I had to do. And that's not going to happen. So let's... I thought I clicked you. Okay, yeah, here we're going here. But just kind of showing off some of these achievements that I had over time. And some of them are actually very, very rare. And there's a way to see the global thing for it. But you can see the ones that are grayed out are the ones that are ones I haven't actually personally had yet. And note that these aren't exactly perfectly in order because they're ordered the way that they... Well, I don't know how they're ordering them, actually. That's a good question. But there's certain ones that I will be able to get in the future regardless, and some that I won't, because Steam still tracks some of these types of data, but if you look at it, there's going to be a kind of a fundamental issue. Now, I'm not sure whether or not the rank still works or not. If not, then those will be forever ones that'll be things that, although they were inevitable for me to get, I won't be able to. And there's some that I'll still inevitably get to. But here's my issue. Questing legend. For me, this was inevitable. I was a very avid quester with doing not only the community quests whenever I had the opportunity, but doing the daily quests, especially the ones that could be done single-player style. Because connections sometimes don't work. I consider them unreliable, so only when I was really in the mood and thought I had a great connection that day was I really going in onto multiplayer. So, admittedly, that's partly just something that just always lined up the way it lined up. But and in terms of the ones that were more in-game, I was very avid about them. And the thing is, I won't be able to get Questing Legend, even officially. Unofficially, that was inevitable. I was going to get that. And that's something I'm a little off about. That I'm not going to be able to get that perfect 100% officially. I mean, unofficially, consider it mine. Because there's some of these that I would have gotten eventually no matter what. And let me see if this has how to view the global... see, what is... global achievement stats. That was it. But yeah, this is showing how rare it is to get some of these. Like, percentage of players that have the game, what ones they've achieved. So you can see that some are not as common as others, like not even half of people have air superiority, which I think is interesting, because using a lot of flying creatures is actually fairly easy. At least for me, arranging how to use it. And it gets just rarer from there. And some of these I'm very surprised at, although admittedly a couple I know were insanely difficult. Like, that one that I got on screen, or rather on camera, whenever I was in the middle of showing story mode, and I was against, Ulamog. I mean, I was down the barrel of a big gun there, because that guy's firepower with wrecking your deck is insane. But it actually worked out in my favor, because I won at the last possible moment. Because if he'd have done that one more time, I would have been screwed, beyond all reasoning. Like, nailed, screwed, and superglued. Because that one was absolutely insane. And I can tell how that one would be rare. But some of these, I'm surprised, because I can personally see very easily how to set these things up and get them worked with. And I have done special setups specifically to them before. But it's all possible within the game to set up these special and just go on a dedicated run and go for a few things. But some of these I'm kind of surprised. And I mean, some of these I have that I'm just going, really? You could not pull that off? Most people? It shows that I'm definitely in the elite ranks if some of these that I've gotten are like that darn rare. Like Necromastery, I have that one. Like 2.8% of people. Seriously. I mean, that is insane that I've gotten several that just the vast majority of people can't wrap their heads around. So I gotta admit that's kind of something. Now, admittedly, only 0.7% of people have Questing Legend, which was one of them that I'm thinking is kind of was inevitable for me, but again is officially kind of sealed off. So I kind of wish that you could do quests because I thought that whole system was completely automated, and that they'd never have to change it. Just leave it the way it is, just going on as it was. Even if you had, like, literally everything, that it would still be nice to be able to just do quests to do quests. I actually had fun with them, personally. But, I mean, it's just kind of amazing how that works out. So let's kind of return to the game, and there's something I'm kind of curious about. Because there's something in here, and it's kind of cosmetic. So let me just kind of pop over to just one of my decks here and see if I can. Let me see what's. See, can I wait? Was it something that I had to complete from another section? Or was it something I could edit this way? Yeah. It's something I do. Now, thing is, some of these Persona were kind of... Oops. Let me kind of back up there. But yeah, some of these Persona were basically... well, they were default, and some are premium. I try to remember which ones were like premium, where you had to get them in the store or something. But there were some of them that were. Or maybe it wasn't the Persona that were. Maybe it was more the deck covers. I think I remember that being like a definite thing that was where you had to get the deck covers premium that were like anything other than a few were kind of, you had to get them through the store. You could use in-game gold for them too. Again, everything in this you could use in-game gold from quests. That's one thing why I really love the questing system, is you could get everything you wanted from it. And see, I think the backgrounds were all free. Like, all of them were always that way. So I think the next step in doing that was always free. This one was that guy. I think there may have been some that way that were premium originally. See, don't worry about the background so much. But yes, things like this. These you normally have to get in store if there's anything other than the basic. And I'm pretty sure these are all just auto-unlock now as part of that. Like, it's not just like the full card collection. It's also like the full unlock of like everything that you'd normally... Yeah, definitely. Because I know Bolus Horns was definitely one. So, other than like the basic, which is this one, everything else you originally had to get in the store. And again, you could use in-game gold, but still, a lot of people just shove money at it. Like, you could kind of tell where there were a lot of pay-to-wins out there, so to speak. Like, a lot of people don't quite... I guess they just don't respect the quest. They don't respect the journey or something. So, I don't know what's up with that. But it's just something I just... never mind. When it comes to that, just don't worry about it. It's not something that that most people would even be pondering. Well, I don't know. A lot of people really like to bling up their stuff with aesthetics, so I guess that's kind of a big deal. So, it's just the fact that now you can kind of just do it all without worrying, and you have like all your whole deck. But again, there's just something kind of missing from it that way. Well, not that way specifically, but just the way it turned out, you know? So, these have been kind of my thoughts on the issue of this being the end of an era. And I don't know. I've gotten mixed feelings about this personally. I can see a lot of benefit with having everything unlocked, but from what I understand, this means that a lot of people that would have wanted to start on this game because some things are kind of more accurate. Uh, well, well, I wouldn't say more accurate. It's just right. There's certain things that are very different about how Magic Duels plays out compared with Arena, and there's kind of, I guess you could say, a different game meta between the two. So for those that appreciate the meta of Magic Duels and want to kind of let a friend in on it, that might not be possible if they're removing it from the store and you can't have somebody else like get the game, even though it was, again, free to play, free to get everything if you knew what to do. It's just not going to be available anymore if that's how I truly understand it. And for getting people in on this, that really sucks. Just going to straight up say it, that sucks. Because it's been a great game. It has been, it still is. I'm going to appreciate it indefinitely. Even if this weird side grade update does some odd things, I'm still going to appreciate the game for what it is and enjoy its meta playing the game. So I'm still going to do that. But does that mean I'm not going to play Arena just because they did something weird with this? Of course not. I'm not going to wig out of Arena. I'm going to keep playing that too. It'll be perfectly fine. It's just, I mean, it might come to a day like this where it does something similar. I don't know. They might keep on Arena indefinitely because it's got humongous reviews and a lot of people are going to like that. And as sets go on, there's going to be a change in the meta for that just over time, but now that they also have this historic format, that kind of puts things into a different perspective because you can kind of do things different ways. So that means that their meta doesn't fully have to change anymore, but for a while it did. For a while, those things just weren't available in terms of actually using them. So Arena has a very confusing situation right now, partially because it's under, like, eternal development. And that may be something. It may just go on forever like that, where they're constantly just updating it and doing things. So they might not come out with a new electronic version of the game after Arena. It might just be Arena forever. And that is one of the reasons why they're letting go of Duels here, is that they're putting all their focus onto Arena. Again, I knew that was kind of going to happen. I just didn't see this kind of weird update happening where they side grade the whole thing, where you get your whole collection and all your aesthetic stuff basically additionally for free. Again, the whole thing was free to download in the first place, so that's a welcome bonus. But on the other hand, you can't do quests, so there's certain achievements that if you hadn't got them up to this point, you never are officially. Again, for me, it was inevitable that I would have gotten them. So if you just project forward, consider me to eventually have literally every achievement in this game, because I was totally headed in that direction. But I guess you could say they just kind of owe me that in terms of consideration. Is, yeah, you got that. Or you would have had that. So, officially, I'm way higher of a player than I thought in the game. It's because I literally hadn't really looked at the statistics until recently of those achievements. So, I guess you could say I have more of a reason to really talk about it, because it's kind of all come down to this. And we'll see what that really means, if it means anything, because, again, that's basically the end of it. This is how things are going to remain from now on. And I gotta admit, it's kind of a bit of a mixed emotion on it. You get some big benefit one way, but a weird thing that's not going to happen the other way. So it's like, what? What did you even do? I don't know what the people at Wizards of the Coast were thinking, but hey, it is what it is. I guess you can kind of say that is the final words on it. It is what it is now. And if you could find a copy of it on the Steam store until now, go for it while it lasts, while it's still there. Because I think they said they were in the process of removing it from it, and If bureaucracy is any indicator, that could take a while. Even though Steam has a lot of automation with stuff, even like one request saying, "Oh, please remove this from the store," it might take some weeks. So maybe it'll still be available for a while. I don't know, but just appreciate it for what it is, and it is what it is now. That's all there is to it. So for now, I guess I'll be logging off completely now. So hope to hear from you all later. Bye for now, everybody. And remember, as always, MTG forever, okay?